Good morning. Form 2020 Form 4562 Depreciation and Amortization. Part 3 Section C. Part 4 Summary. Part 5 Listed Property. And Part 6 Amortization. So Part 3 Section C. Asset placed in service during 2020 tax year using the Alternative Depreciation System, ADS. A lot of assets will fall under General Depreciation System, GDS. But if you are required to use ADS, then you will enter your assets information on 20A column A, and you have column B, month and year placed in service. For two options to fill to complete, you have column C, basis for depreciation, business and investment use only. You have column D, recovery period, that they fill up except the line 20A. You have conversion, column E, and method, depreciation method, in column F, that they fill up already. And you have column G, depreciation deduction, to complete based on column C. And you have class life, 28 class life. You have B, 12 years, C, 30 years, and D, 40 years. So you could read more on ADS on instructions to Form 4562. You can find a link on our blog, ninasoup.com, or publication 946. How to depreciate an asset. And chances are your assets will be depreciated using General Depreciation System. And now part 4, the summary. So line 21, listed property, enter the amount from line 28. So that means if you have listed property you use for business and personal, you'll complete part 5, listed property, and the amount on line 28, which is the total of column H, depreciation deduction, on line 25 through line 27. Enter on line 21, page 1, and you enter on line 28 here as well. So line 22, total. Add amount from line 12, line 14 through line 17. Line 19 and line 20 in column G, and line 21. So add amount from line 12, line 14 through 17. So line 12, part 1, section 179. Line 17, depreciation for prior for asset placed in service prior years, the depreciation for 2020. I believe line 14, special depreciation. Line 15, property subject to section 1 CCAF, and line 16, other depreciation. So you total line 12, line 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus line 17. And they'll go on line 22. on line 19 and 20 colon G. So line 19, you have A, B, C, D, all the way to I, depreciation deduction for asset placed in service during the year. You'll add that as well. And line 21. Okay, so let's do it again. So line 22 will be line 12, line 14, line 15, line 16, line 17. All the line 19 colon G and line 20 colon G, they are depreciation deductions, and line 21, listed property. You'll add all of that and put it on line 22. So enter here and on the appropriate line of your return, partnership and S Corp, see instructions. Okay, so for partnership and S Corp, do not include amount from line 12, section 179 here. You add it to the appropriate line on Schedule K1 for the partners. So it is a pass-through entity. So a pass-through cost, if I would say a pass-through deduction. So if you are claiming section 179, it will go on Schedule K1 for partner for 1065 partnership tax return or Form 1120 S Corp tax return. It will go on the Schedule K1. You are not going to add it on, you are not going to include it on line 22. And the total of line 22 will go on 1040-65 for partnership and Form 1120 S Corp. So line 23, for assets shown above and placed in service during the course year, enter the portion of the basis attributable to section 263A cost. So if you have something like that, you'll add it to line 23. And you can read more of it in the instructions to Form 4562. So part 5, listed property. So they have automobiles, certain other vehicles, certain aircraft, and property used for entertainment, recreation, and amusement. So part 5, line 24A. So you have section A here, depreciation and other information. So if you, okay, so do you have evidence to support the business investment use claimed? So if that's yes, you check yes. 24B, if yes, is the evidence written? If yes, you check yes. So special line 25, special depreciation allowance for qualified listed property placed in service during the tax year and use more than 50% in a qualified business use. See instructions. So if you are taking section 179 for asset placed in service during the tax year and you use it, they are listed property, and you use it for more than 50%, then you'll put that amount you wanted to claim for section 179 on line 25. So line 26, property use more than 50% in a qualified business use. So if you are using your property for personal and business and you use it 50%, you use it more than 50% in your business, you'll put the asset information on line 26. So you have column A, type of the property, lease vehicle first. So you'll pretty much put the name. Column B, date placed in service, you'll enter the date. And column C, business use and investment use percentage. So you'll put a percentage here for the business and investment use. So that means you are tracking how many hours you use the assets for personal, you use it for business, you use it for investment, and the total many hours you use it during the year. Column 4, cost or other basis, you'll enter in column D. Now for column D, on line 26, you have 3 lines there to work with. And then column E, basis for depreciation, business use and investment use only. So the cost or other basis will be the cost for the item itself, for the basis. And then column E will be the business and investment portion of it. Column F, recovery period. So the recovery period you are going to use, and we will cover more about recovery period convention. We talked about a little bit in the previous video under GDS, but we'll come back to that. So you have 5, 7. So depending on the lease property, you'll know what to use, and you'll put that's 5. You'll put 5 or 7. If that's 7, method convention. So you have 2 things here. So the depreciation method you are going to use, whether it's going to be straight line, 200% decline balance, or 150% decline balance. You'll put it here, slash convention, whether it's half year, mid-quarter. And then the depreciation deduction, column H, will be the amount of the depreciation you are going to claim on that asset for the year 2020. And you have elected cost 179. So if you are claiming session 179 cost, it will go on line 26 here. Okay. So line 27, property use 50% or less in your business. So those are not qualified for section 179. You'll pretty much repeat the same process that you have for line 26, for line 27, for those assets you use more for personal use than you use it for business. And keep in mind, if you are using standard mileage, if you are a sole proprietor, for instance, and you are using standard mileage for your car, or you are going to claim actual expense for your car, but you don't have any intention to depreciate the car, you don't have to fill up all those forms for you can just put the information. Let me see here. You will put the information on straight on schedule C per 4, I believe. We covered that in one of the videos. But for vehicles that you are just going to use the standard mileage rate, if you are using Form 4562 for other assets that you are depreciating, and for your car, you use your car for business, but you just want to claim standard mileage, you don't need to fill up everything. You can fill up line 24A. Check yes if you have a support document, and check 24B yes if it is written, which it should be, and then colon A through C of section A, all of section B and section C if applicable. So colon A, B, C, you'll enter the information of the car, but you don't need to fill up colon D, E, F, G, H, I for the car because you are not going to depreciate anything. So you can enter the car information, how you use it when you place in service, and you just check line 24A and B, and you'll scroll down to section B and C to see which one is qualified. So if you are using the car in your business, you have those the mileage information, you can just check section B. You can just work on section B and leave section C alone. But if you are letting an employee use the car, and you don't want to check section B, then you can see if you have a waiver here that allow you not to complete section B. Otherwise, you can just complete B and C within the information you have, whether depending on what you are required to check. But section B will be more important if you have all this information to include it. And that's how you will fill up, you will complete part 5, list a property. So line 28, add amount in colon H 25 through 27. So that means colon H for line 26, colon H for line 27. So you'll enter on line 28 and then you'll add it on line 21, page 1. We talked about that in the other video, and line 21 is right above here. And line 29, add amount in colon I, line 26. That will be section 179. So deduction for asset placed in service for more than 50, that you use more than 50% in your business. So you'll enter it on line 29 and you'll enter it on line 7, page 1. Line 7, page 1. And how you record your mileage information, you'll fill up section B and section C if you let your employees use your business car and they don't own more than 5% of the business. You can check, you can complete section C for that. Otherwise, it's important to have information to complete section B. If you use the business, if you use your car for business and you are going to claim standard mileage or depreciate the car, you need to fill up section B. Part 5, amortization. Okay. So we have colon A, deduction of this description of the cost. We have column B, dates amortization begins. C, amortizable amount. D, code session. E, amortization period or percentage. F, amortization for the year. Line 42, amortization of costs that begin during your 2020 tax year. So you will fill up you'll complete form 4562 for the first year. You amortize an asset that needs amortization, but for the following year that you will continue to amortize the asset, you don't need to complete Form 45-CC2 for it. You only use it for the year you place the asset in service. So what needs to be amortized? Okay, so Section 179, intangible properties are to be amortized over 180 months, and they include business books and record. And those books are books that you use in your business. They are not books that will expire or anything like that, but they are your reference book, non-fiction book, business books that you have in your, pretty much your business library. You'll amortize them over 180 months. Patents, copyrights, formula, patterns, process. So if you have a process that you use, in your business, the cost of it, you'll amortize over 180 months. So permits, license, or rights issued by a government, franchise, trademarks, trade names, including renewal fees, business startup costs, organizational costs to create a corporation or a partnership. And some of those costs, the first year, you could claim the full deduction of the cost up to a certain amount. And past that amount, you have to amortize the rest over 180 months. Or you can just straight amortize over 180 months. If you are not at the beginning of the business, if you didn't make much money the first year, you could just amortize everything over 180 months. Otherwise, if the cost is not a high dollar amount, you could just deduct the full amount. We are not going to cover organizational costs or business costs, but if that's something you are interested in, you can let me know and I will have a video to go deep on that. And yeah, so those are Section 197 intangible properties that will be amortized, and they will go on basis of Form 45-CC2. So you'll put under line 42 amortization of costs that begins during the year 2020, the year you are filing for. The date the amortization begins, the amount, and the code session. So that'll be 197. If that's that code, you can read the instruction to see the different codes they have. And then amortization period or percentage, and the amortization for the year. For amortization, you use straight line. So you pretty much, if that's 180 months, so that's the cost divided by that. And then for the number of years you use it, for the first year, you'll put that, and then for the remaining, it'll be 12 months. And 43, amortization of costs that began before 2020. So if you have been amortizing things for things you place in service prior to 2020, the total will go on line 43 for 2020 deduction. And then 44, line 44, your total amount for line 42, colon F, and line 43, total together, that'll be line 44. And if we go in the instructions here, let's just scroll quickly down. Be a lot better if I do 15. So they have different codes here, so you have to see what is qualified for amortization to use the proper code. So if that's geological and geophysical expenditure, that will be Section 167H. And bond premium, Section 171, Pollution Control Facility, Section 169, Research and Experimental Expenditure, that'll be Section 174, and you have to see the period they have to be amortized. For research and experimental expenditure, you can elect to either amortize your research and expenditure costs, deduct them as current business expenses, or write them off over a 10-year period. If you elect to amortize those costs, deduct them in equal amount over 6 months or more. So it's important you read the instructions if you are going to amortize anything, to see the section they belong to and the options you have, and choose the option that best fits your business. And let's scroll to see if they have section 197 here. Section 197, intangible. So the following costs must be amortized over 15 years, 180 months, starting with the letter of A, the month the intangible were acquired, and B, the month the trade or business or activity engaged in the production of income begins. So you have goodwill, going concern value, workforce in place, business book and record, operating system, or any other information base. You have pattern, copyright, formula, process, design, pattern, know-how, former and similar item. Customer base intangible, for example, composition of market and market share. But you can read all of that. But now let's go down to a longer period may apply to section 197, intangible lease under agreement. Okay, I'm trying to see how to deduct that. You have the starting cost here. You can elect to amortize the following costs for setting up your business. Business starting cost, that's section 197. Organizational costs for a corporation, that's section 248. Organizational cost for partnership, section 709. And let's go up a little bit. For business startup costs and organizational cost paid and incurred after 2008, September 2008, you can elect to deduct a limited amount of startup costs or organizational costs for the year that the business begins. You are now required to attach a statement to make this election. Once made, the election is irrevocable. Any cost not deducted will be amortized, I believe, over 180 months. Okay, currently must be amortized ratably over a 180 month period. The amortization period starts with the month you begin business operation. So, and business. So pretty much by reading, you know, depending on the session your asset belong, you know how many months you need to amortize your intangible property. And for 197 session properties, you'll amortize over 180 months. And yeah, so you can read more yourself to see what intangible property you need to amortize and the options you have available to do so. And that's how you pretty much complete Form 4562, depreciation and amortization. We covered the form, but we are not done with the videos. We will focus, our coming videos will focus on the general depreciation system. Will go very deep in this, on this area. Section B, and we will have all the videos in our playlist 2020 Form 45 CC2 depreciation and amortization. And by the time you watch all the videos in that playlist, you will be able to depreciate any asset you place in your business in 2020, and you will know exactly how you should depreciate each one of them. Thank you so much for your time. We have our free download session on our blog ninasoup.com. You can access without submitting your email, and you can access links to Form 45, 62, Publication 946, and instructions to Form 45, 62. You will access their links there through, I believe, 2020 federal forms and instructions. And we have templates there as well as free downloads to manage money, to manage your finances and manage your business. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching our video. We thank you very much, you all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiavi Ojune Libreman, creators of Libreman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, Libreman Consulting L.L.C podcast, ninasoup.com, our blog. We do have online store for digital products at liberdownload.com, custom apparels at liberlabel.com, natural products at ninasoup.com, and resale products at liberoutlet.com. Thank you so much for your time. We'll have blog articles. We'll have multiple blog articles to cover each session, the full narrative, on our blog ninasoup.com under how to depreciate a business assets, and be able to access different articles there as well. Thank you.